ceremony to celebrate the class of 2021. Welcome, friends. Welcome, relatives, mentors, and other guests of our graduating class of 2021. Today is a momentous day because we are all here to celebrate the culmination of a journey and the achievement of your goal, and at the same time, to witness the beginning of a new journey. To all of our graduates today, we, your professors and mentors, acknowledge the very hard work that has taken to reach this moment. You have worked hard and has shown your very best. Sometimes faced with challenges you did not expect, but you persevered even when you had to make the sacrifices to do so. But all of you kept your eye on the prize, that college degree that you came to obtain. And now that day has arrived. We are all here to join you and in celebrating this day, this time with you, our graduates, the class of 2021. Thank you. Welcome to our program. Today's program is, we have a full program with our professors, with some of our students, and welcoming our special guest, Dolores Huerta, to our program today to celebrate this time. So let us begin by introducing our faculty advisor who will present the welcome from the faculty, Professor Patricia Arroyo Calderon.
Hello, everybody. Muy buenas tardes a todas y a todos los asistentes. I hope you can hear me, right? On behalf of the faculty of the Department of Spanish and Portuguese, I am very pleased to congratulate all of our graduating students on such an important day. Obtaining a university degree is always a remarkable achievement. Obtaining a university degree after more than 1 year of remote instruction borders on the heroic. But you made it. This past year has not been an easy one for college students, and neither for professors. The global pandemic rocked our lives and sometimes turned them completely upside down. For many of you, it brought deep anxiety, uncertainty in regards of the future, new responsibilities, sometimes loss and grief. In the midst of all that, you persevered. The pandemic also brought to the forefront structural problems that were already here, but that oftentimes we did not want to look in the eye. Racial inequalities, gender inequalities, class inequalities, global inequalities, environmental degradation. The list is long, and the issues could feel at times overwhelming. In the midst of all that, you persevered. Remote instruction brought with it the very, very real Zoom fatigue, as well as a whole new set of challenges. Students in different time zones, sometimes many hours ahead or behind Pacific Standard Time. Issues related to internet connectivity and access to technology. Lack of private or comfortable spaces to study, to do homework, to attend classes. In the midst of all that, you persevered. And today is the day when we gather to praise and celebrate your resilience, your dedication to learning, your will to succeed. You made it, and your UCLA degree will be with you forever. This past year brought, however, so many other things. It brought with it new and now familiar routines, like the Zoom classes filled with, "Are you there? Can you hear me?" Or the usual, "Profe, you're muted." We all learned to navigate new computer programs and online platforms that allowed us to stay together while separate. And your not so tech savvy professors, and I include myself here, now can tell you that the old saying that goes, learning is a lifelong journey, rings certainly truer than ever. We got to peek into each other's spaces. Our pets crossed the screens. Sometimes we could see or overhear parents, children, partners, roommates. In sum, we were able to access, if briefly and in a fragmented way, slices of our respective lives that connected us in our shared humanity. We also realized that communities can flourish in the most unexpected of contexts. More than one strong friendship has been formed in the Zoom breakout rooms or while working together on group projects. You also found ingenious ways to support and advocate for each other, like, for example, that GroupMe thing, right? Where many of you shared impressions, resources, and advice with your peers. Finally, some of you became conscious or unconscious conduits for one of the most important missions of a public university, to bring knowledge to all. Some students, cooped up at home with parents and siblings, chose to watch class assignments and discuss course topics with their families, strengthening bonds and reminding all of us that meaningful learning should never be a privilege of the few. In sum, this past year, full of stress and uncertainties, has also brought us lifelong lessons. That every life is precious, every student unique, that a little empathy and kindness can go a long way, that we are all vulnerable in our shared humanity, that we cannot make it alone. The academic year is over, the vaccines are here, life is quickly returning to normal. Today, we stop to look behind at all your accomplishments, to celebrate your immense achievement, and to cherish the family members, friends, and communities that have supported and encouraged you along the way. I am sure they are incredibly proud of you today, as we all are too. On our part, we are grateful that you chose to give us a prominent role in your years at UCLA. We have certainly tried our best to transmit our passion for the Spanish, Portuguese, Quechua, Catalan, and Basque languages and linguistics, as well as our commitment to Latin American, Iberian, Indigenous, Latinx, Afro-Latinx, and Afro-Luso-Brazilian communities, literatures, and cultures. We hope we succeeded, and we hope that this passion and commitment will stay with you and will bring you many, many joys. Today, we also look into the future, and we wish you wholeheartedly the very best in the new and exciting journeys that you will be soon starting. This department is also your home, and you will always be welcome here. On behalf of the Spanish and Portuguese department, parabéns, felicitaciones, congratulations to the class of 2021.
Every year, we give our graduating seniors the opportunity to address the graduating class with the senior speeches in English and Spanish. This year, from delivering the senior speech in English is our graduating senior, Monica Moreno.
Good afternoon, everyone. Buenas tardes a todos y todas. It is my pleasure to welcome you all to the Department of Spanish and Portuguese commencement celebration for the graduating class of 2021. My name is Monica Elizabeth Moreno, and I am graduating with a Bachelor of Arts in Spanish, a Bachelor of Arts in Sociology, and a minor in Mexican Studies. I am also the recipient of the Claudia Parodi Essay Prize in Spanish Linguistics. Wow, now that I'm saying that, it seems like really complicated to say, and I actually can't even believe that I'm finally saying it in front of all of you. I want to start off by thanking everyone who has provided me an immense amount of support throughout our time at UCLA. I want to shout out all of our professors, teaching assistants, classmates, advisors, And last but not least, our families. Everything we have done to get to this point in our lives could not have been possible without you all. I also want to give a special shout out to a professor who has done more for me than I deserved. Doctora Sud, you have been one of the professors I worked with closely, and the support plus motivation you have provided me with are something that I will be forever grateful for. You believed in me even when I was ready to give up, so thank you for that. I also have the honor of addressing my fellow graduates as I represent the Department of Spanish and Portuguese to validate my experiences here at UCLA. This will allow me to leave with one very last footprint on my UCLA journey as we take the first steps and begin the next chapter of our lives as UCLA alumni. Now, I'm sure we are all beyond excited to be here today, especially because we have spent the past year indoors due to the pandemic. Look at us now, though. We are graduating despite being told that a remote education wouldn't be impossible to engage in. Many of us have lost loved ones, and I want to take a few moments of silence to honor those who may not be here with us during this very special day. Please join me in this moment of silence. Thank you everyone for sharing this moment with us. Now, thinking back to the very first day at UCLA, I had no idea what I wanted to do. I felt really lost, as I'm sure many of us felt. Even when I had finally decided on a path that I was happy with during my undergraduate career, I felt isolated sometimes. I felt like I was not a good enough fit to be a student at UCLA. It's hard to come to terms with the fact that we are graduating from the #1 public university in the United States, especially considering that the system is rigged against people like me. Many times I found it difficult to be included in events and different crowds on campus. It was definitely not easy for me to accept the fact that not everyone is going to like me or even want to provide help when it was evident that I needed it. However, I'm sure many of us face difficult challenges during the time spent here at UCLA, and I'm here to say that I'm proud of us. I'm proud of us for overcoming these challenges. I'm proud of us for pushing through even when we were ready to give up and told ourselves we weren't capable of doing things. I'm proud of us for knowing that remote work was going to be challenging, but following through with it anyway. Most importantly, I'm proud of us for making it this far and graduating from UCLA. Now that we have reached this moment, we must look forward and think about how we are the next generation to shape the future. We are the future. We must take what we have learned in the past few years, not only on campus, but also from so many tragedies that have occurred. This is when we have to step up if we haven't yet. It is a prime time to be advocates and provide safe spaces for those that may not have the ability to do so just yet. We must continue to work together to break down oppressive systems that are not meant to allow us to succeed. We must be the force that humanity needs to continue improving and not take any steps back, as we have unfortunately seen in the past year. The injustices many of our peers and families have faced are inexplicably unfair, and we should not let them feel alone. We must step up and be the ones that provide voices for our loved ones that may be too afraid to speak up for themselves. This is what our future should hold. We have made it this far, so who is going to stop us from continuing to succeed and bring our best selves forward? Now, that is not to say we shouldn't make mistakes. Instead, we should be forcing ourselves to come out of our comfort zone and find new things that we enjoy and want to continue exposing ourselves to. To say we won't be making mistakes isn't very accurate, as it is literally our human nature to do so. This is how we learn what is comfortable for us and what we should avoid. This is where our major life lessons come from. If you think about it, 20 years from now, when you look back to this moment when we graduated and everything that comes after this, you're going to be more disappointed in yourself for missing out on things that you didn't do rather than the things that you already did. With that being said, take that trip, apply to grad school, fall in love, go out and enjoy life, because life is borrowed and we need to live it to the fullest extent possible. Continue to follow your dreams, do things you never thought you would do, and face your fears. And lastly, don't let anyone tell you otherwise. Surround yourself with people who motivate you, with people who wish you the best and simply have positive vibes. Don't be afraid to do what's best for you. Thank you everyone who joined us today. And again, congratulations to the UCLA Department of Spanish and Portuguese class of 2021. We did it. Sí se pudo.
Thank you, Monica. Those wonderful words. Next, we have a presentation of the Community Engaged program. The Community Engaged program in our department allows students to take part in fieldwork, which utilizes language skills to be of service to local Spanish and Portuguese-speaking communities in the greater Los Angeles area. Students of the Community Engaged program participated in the courses that prepare them for this participation and requires them to write up these experiences. The director of this program is Professor Carla Suhr, who will present the Community Engaged program participants of this academic year. Carla?
We can't hear you, Carla.
Professor Suhr?
Hello. Hello. Hola. Thank you, Rosina. Hola a todos y todas. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon. Enhorabuena, mis más sinceras felicitaciones a cada uno de ustedes por su graduación. Espero que hoy se tomen tiempo para sentirse orgullosos por el extraordinario logro que acaban de conseguir y, por supuesto, que lo puedan celebrar acompañados de sus seres queridos. De hecho, a pesar de ciertas limitaciones que un evento virtual como este puede presentar, al mismo tiempo nos brinda esta tarde el regalo de contar con la presencia de familiares que se encuentran en diferentes rincones en otros estados y países. Y como algunos de ustedes han compartido conmigo esta semana pasada, no hay sustituto que pueda mejorar la experiencia de tener a sus abuelos, por ejemplo, en México, presenciando hoy su graduación. Para ellos, al igual que para nosotros, miembros del departamento, ustedes son frutos de orgullo de nuestras semillas también plantadas. En este último año y medio, marcado por grandes desafíos agudizados por la pandemia, ustedes han sido un ejemplo de resiliencia, afrontando las adversidades, saliendo adelante con sus estudios y también aportando a las causas de diferentes organizaciones sin fines de lucro por medio de 4.200 horas de servicio. Por ello, el Departamento de Español y Portugués quiere mostrar su reconocimiento por esta labor comunitaria que han realizado. Para mí personalmente ha sido un honor facilitar el aprendizaje que llega a través de una reflexión de su propia posicionalidad en la sociedad y del vínculo de colaboración que se ha establecido entre la academia y la comunidad. Algunas de las formas en las que ustedes han contribuido han sido abogando por los derechos de vivienda, informando acerca de los recursos disponibles para las personas indocumentadas, sirviendo de puente entre padres hispanohablantes y maestros angloparlantes, proveyendo información sobre salud mental a quienes han padecido COVID, asistiendo en sesiones de justicia restaurativa, entrevistando y publicando artículos sobre líderes comunitarios y activistas que trabajan por los derechos humanos, enseñando clases virtuales a hijos del personal sanitario, niños sin techo y hijos de agricultores, interpretando para doctores, proveyendo mentoría, asistiendo con el formulario de solicitud y informando acerca del camino a la universidad para estudiantes de primera generación y sus padres. Además de las horas y el trabajo concreto, su aportación ha ido más allá al desarrollar un pensamiento crítico y participar en conversaciones acerca de los cambios sistemáticos que deben producirse. Al transcurrir los trimestres, me enorgullece encontrar a exalumnos de estos cursos que ahora forman parte integral de algunas organizaciones con las que trabajamos y sirven incluso de capacitadores de nuevos voluntarios. Es mi deseo que durante sus años en UCLA hayan tenido la oportunidad de no solo internalizar nuevo conocimiento, sino también de crear conexiones con personas que les hayan ayudado a formar la mejor versión de sí mismos y que el aprendizaje y las destrezas adquiridas les hayan preparado para el papel que quieren desempeñar en la sociedad y sobre todo les hayan empoderado a crear un impacto positivo en la misma y quizás a seguir los pasos de liderazgo de Dolores Huerta. La historia nos enseña que más a menudo que nunca los cambios necesarios en referencia a las desigualdades e injusticias sociales se producen cuando personas con convicción y pasión se movilizan. La educación entrelazada con trabajo comunitario es una de las herramientas más poderosas para promover cambio social y ustedes han contribuido a este movimiento. Cada acción, y siempre les recuerdo lo mismo, por pequeña que parezca, es parte del cambio. Al leer cada uno de los nombres en esta lista, sé que el mundo los aguarda impaciente. Enhorabuena de nuevo y muchas gracias por toda su labor. Gracias.
As you can see, this community engaged service hours this year have been 4,200 hours of community service. That has been a significant amount of service to our community. Thank you very much for this class, for the opportunity for our students to work in the community. To continue with our program, we will present our departmental awards. This year, our department awarded recognition to 5 students for their outstanding academic work in each of the following award categories. The Senior Class Seal Design Award. The Senior Class Design Award is an inaugural award that gives graduating seniors the opportunity to submit an artwork that they believe is representative of their graduating class. And this year, the award goes to Jaylene Cruz for the Bachelor's in Spanish for her beautiful artwork rendition. Jaylene, would you like to say a few words about your artwork and your inspiration behind it? Jaylene? Okay. The next award is the Jose Rubia Barcia Essay Prize, and it recognizes outstanding academic work on Spanish literature. Jose Rubia Barcia is a distinguished professor of 20th century Spanish literature and served as a former chair of the Department of Spanish and Portuguese. This year, this essay prize goes to Max Coleman Bogle, a Spanish BA, for his essay, Tools of the Empire, Cultural Narrative as a Social Political Device. The student wrote this essay for his independent research course with Professor Javier Patino. Max, are you here? Would you like to say a few words?
Hello. Hi, I'm here. I hope everyone can hear me. Yeah, I want to say thank you to everyone who's been part of my journey here at UCLA. I've had quite the journey. I actually like to say that I was born a Bruin because I was born at the hospital here, and now I'm very proud to be graduating. But I couldn't have done it alone. It took a lot of people along the way, and I was supported by so many people. And I want to shout out Of course, Professor Patino, thank you so much for all of the lessons you gave me and for supporting me throughout the process of writing this paper. This was the first paper I really was proud of and like really felt like I did something great. So thank you so much for helping me and for encouraging me to submit it for this prize. I want to thank Professor Bergero también, if you're out there. Thank you so much for everything that you've given me throughout my time at UCLA. I want to be just like you when I grow up. And I want to thank my family, to my parents, who I'm sure are very happy that I'm here today. I've been in and out of school a number of times, so I think that they're happy that I'm graduating today. And to my grandparents, I want to thank you all very much for instilling a love of education in me and for making me who I am. And I especially want to dedicate this award to my grandpa Pablo, who we lost yesterday. So I just want to say thank you to everyone. And I'm very, very proud to be part of this class and graduating. So thank you, everyone. Mwah.
Thank you, Max. Our next category is the Claudia Perotti Essay Prize, which recognizes academic work in Spanish linguistics. Professor Claudia Perotti had a most distinguished career in the department as a professor of Spanish linguistics since 1991 until she passed. This year, the Claudia Perotti Essay Award goes to Monica Elizabeth Moreno with her BA in Spanish, BA in Sociology, and a minor in Mexican Studies. She wrote this essay for the independent research course with Professor Carla Sur. Monica, would you like to say a few words?
Yes, thank you so much. Quisiera decir algunas palabras en español porque sé que mi mamá está viendo ahorita desde el trabajo, entonces quiero que pues lo pueda entender. Buenas tardes a todos y todas una vez más. Espero que estén disfrutando de la ceremonia de graduación hasta ahorita. Me gustaría agradecer a la Junta Directiva y al Departamento de Español y Portugués por decidir nombrarme receptora del Premio de Ensayo Claudia Perotti. En segundo lugar, quiero mostrar mi agradecimiento de nuevo a la doctora Sur por dirigirme en este trabajo de investigación y brindar una maravillosa visión durante todo el proceso. Me siento muy orgullosa por el reconocimiento que he recibido por mi trabajo, porque estoy muy segura de que todos los demás nominados y nominadas a este premio fueron tan capaces como yo, si no más, de ganarlo. El título de mi ensayo, como lo pueden ver en la pantalla, es La conceptualización de la inmigración en la prensa en español de Estados Unidos durante los mandatos de los presidentes Obama y Trump. El objetivo de este trabajo de investigación fue de analizar las colocaciones utilizadas y las metáforas conceptuales y lingüísticas identificadas en el discurso político directo de ambos presidentes, con el fin de desmantelar la narrativa creada que llega a la población hispanohablante en los Estados Unidos, específicamente acerca de sus planes de reforma migratoria. Lo interesante del tema de mi trabajo es que pude conectar mis conocimientos sobre sociología, español e incluso mi especialización de estudios mexicanos para compilar mi investigación. Para mí es muy importante resaltar la importancia de este tema porque nos ayuda a entender cómo se construyen los estereotipos en torno a la figura del inmigrante y también es de gran relevancia en nuestra sociedad hoy, dada la repercusión en la vida de las personas que las políticas de inmigración tienen. Me encantó conocer más a fondo cómo se realizan las fases de un proceso de investigación a través de la lectura de literatura, estudios previos, investigando y recopilando y analizando datos, al igual que creando gráficos y escribiendo conclusiones. Después de terminar mi trabajo, fue escrito íntegramente en español. Hubo un total de 36 páginas que luego tuve que reducir a 18 páginas para presentarlo y ser considerada para este premio. Por último, no teman salir de su zona de confort. Fue una tarea ardua, pero me inspiró a hacer cosas que nunca pensé que haría, como hablar frente a todos ustedes, al igual que dedicarme a la investigación varias veces durante mi tiempo en UCLA. De nuevo, muchas gracias a todos y espero que disfruten el resto de la ceremonia.
Gracias, Monica. The Richard Reeve Essay Prize recognizes academic work on Spanish American literature or culture. Professor Richard Reeve joined the department's faculty in 1968, where he remained until the end of his life. This year, the Richard Reeve Essay Prize goes to Katia Bernice Rosas Diaz with a BA in Spanish, BA in History, and a Chicano Studies minor. Would you like to say a few words? She wrote this essay for the senior capstone seminar with Professor Martin Van Delten. Katia? Are you here? Okay. This year, the Department of Spanish and Portuguese is extremely honored to be able to have Dolores Huerta present to make this inaugural award, the Dolores Huerta Community Service Award. This award recognizes our students' involvement with the Latinx communities at UCLA and the greater Los Angeles area through the Community Engaged Learning Program. Here to introduce the president of the Dolores Huerta Foundation and the community organizer, Dolores Huerta, we have our Dean of Humanities, David Shelberg.
Thank you, Rosina. I'm extremely grateful to the Department of Spanish and Portuguese for inviting me to introduce today's speaker. And I'm so pleased and so honored to introduce Dolores Huerta, the honoree of this important prize recognizing our division's growing work in community engagement. Dolores Huerta is president and founder of the Dolores Huerta Foundation and co-founder of the United Farm Workers of America with Cesar Chavez. Ms. Huerta is a labor leader and community organizer. She's worked civil rights and social justice for over 50 years. In 1962, she and Cesar Chavez founded the United Farm Workers Union. She served as vice president and played a critical role in many of the union's accomplishments for 4 decades. In 2002, she received the Puffin Nation $100,000 Prize for Creative Citizenship, which she used to establish the Dolores Huerta Foundation, DHF. Is connecting groundbreaking community-based organizing to state and national movements to register and educate voters, to advocate for education reform, to bring about infrastructure improvements in low-income communities, to advocate for greater equality for the LGBT community, and to create strong leadership development. She has received numerous awards, among them the Eleanor Roosevelt Human Rights Award from President Clinton in 1998. In 2012, President Obama bestowed upon Dolores the Presidential Medal of Freedom, the highest civilian award in the United States. She also was awarded the 2021 US Today Women of the Century and Glamour's Women of the Year awards. Please join me in welcoming Dolores Huerta.
Hello, everybody. Thank you very much for this wonderful invitation to be able to share a few words with you. And of course, I want to congratulate all of the graduates because I know how all of the hard work that you have done to be able to get to this point of graduation. And of course, we want to also congratulate all of your support systems, your parents or partners or whomever helped you get to this point in time. And of course, we want to thank all of the great teachers that you have that were able to bring you also to this point of graduation. And since this graduation is for Spanish and Portuguese, I do have to say a few words in Spanish. So quiero felicitar a todos los graduados y también a todas las personas que los apoyaron para llegar a este punto, a sus parientes, amigos, compañeros, etcétera. A todos los que yo sé, porque uno no puede llegar a este punto de graduación sin el apoyo de muchas personas y que claramente que tenemos que darle las gracias también a todos los profesores, ¿no? Que ellos fueron los que le hicieron toda la preparación para que llegaran a este momento. Y también les quiero dar las gracias por escoger este tema para su estudio de no solamente el idioma español y portugués, pero también a todo lo que tiene que ver con la literatura, las historias y todo lo que se tiene para tener una educación, podemos decir, comprensiva cuando se trata de Latinoamérica. And I also want to thank you, students, for choosing this subject for your graduation and for your studies, because we know that this is not often highlighted for people to study when we think of studying not only the language, Spanish and Portuguese, but also the culture, the history, the art, and everything that goes with it, so that when you graduate in these Spanish and Portuguese, it's not just about learning the language, but also about learning everything else that encompasses the culture, the politics that goes with our culture of Central America and Latin America. And of course, I like to include Mexico because I am, of course, my grandparents came from Mexico. And so I'm very proud of that. And I was saying earlier to one of your professors, I think I am kind of jealous of that because if I were not an organizer, I would love to be not only is there as a student with you, but maybe also as a professor. So, and you know, I was very moved by Monica Moreno's speech, which she talked about feeling unwelcome when she came to UCLA, and feeling, I guess, the bias that unfortunately still exists against people of color, including people of Latin descent. And I just want to say to Monica that we know that UCLA is making a very big effort to change this. And they are doing this, of course, by adding additional professors of color, both Black teachers, Black professors, and Latino teachers, so that students, when they come to UCLA, as my son did, by the way, who graduated from UCLA Medical School, and my grandson, who also graduated from UCLA, that they will feel very welcome there and never have to feel like they're outsiders. And when we think about that, we know that this also stems from the racism that has affected all people of color in the United States, and especially our Black Americans in this country. And we know where that comes from. We know that this comes from racism. We know that racism is a sickness, as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, and it's something that we all have to strive for to get rid of the racism that exists in our society. And unfortunately, that racism, because it does stem from slavery, as we know, actually affects our Latinx community. And it's often, when you think about that, and I remember quoting a young man from Guatemala who said, hey, here in the United States, he said, the real immigrants that came here came from Europe. We're not the immigrants. We are the indigenous people of the continent. And we can extend that and say we have the indigenous people of the continent of North America and South America. So there's no reason why anyone of Latin extraction should ever feel like they are somehow not welcome in their own continent. Or, you know, of course, they're people live for many generations. And by the way, by choosing these majors that you chose of studying the Spanish and Portuguese culture, you are filling a void in the United States. You are filling a big void because, unfortunately, again, like so many other issues that we have in our country, the issues of misogyny, homophobia, again, climate change, we do have a lot of ignorance in our society. And I think this also just stems of it, that somehow in the United States, we forget about Mexico, we forget about Latin America. Every day in our newspapers, we read about what's happening in Europe, what's happening in England, what's happening in Asia, but very little about what's happening in Latin America. And that kind of really, I think, proves my point about the void that we have here. And so the fact that you have chosen these majors in Spanish and Portuguese, you are going to be filling that void. And I know that a lot of the work that you will be doing, as you have been doing, is doing social justice work, because that will address some of the issues and some of the wrongs that have been, unfortunately, bestowed upon so many of our people in the United States of America. When I talk to students, and I often say to them, Google a map of the United States before 1848. So you can see that a third of the United States was Mexico. And it's always a big shock when people look at that. And so we can always say, we were here before the United States was the United States of America. And unfortunately, this kind of bias and discrimination also stems to our relationships that we have with countries in Latin America. And when I lecture, I like to use the word bananas and say, why bananas? Because again, when we think of the people that are coming to our border that are seeking refuge and asylum, so many of them come from Central America, from Guatemala, from Honduras, from El Salvador. And we think, what do they grow there that we consume here in the United States? Well, it's bananas, but all of the money for the jillions of bananas that are consumed every day in the United States, that money does not go to those Central American countries. The money goes to our American corporations like Dole Banana, Chiquita Banana, and the 50 Banana companies. So these are some of the things that we have to change in the United States, because we cannot continue to exploit our neighbors to the south. And we should think more. And I think our President Biden, I think he and Vice President Kamala Harris, I think they do have that same mindset now, that what can we do to help them develop their own economies so that people do not have to leave their homes in these beautiful countries where Americans in the United States would go to as tourists, but they have to leave there because they're fleeing violence, they're fleeing poverty, and now even fleeing global warming. So we have to think about what can we do. And of course, this is what your part of your preparation will make this happen. We spoke briefly in our meet and greet about Cuba. I do want to say to every one of you, please go to Cuba, because when you go to Cuba, you will see something there that will just absolutely, if you haven't already learned this in your classes, is that everyone there has free healthcare in Cuba. Everybody has a free college education. And sometimes I think that the boycotts that we have on Cuba and all of these really erroneous stories that we hear about Cuba are really meant to keep people from going to Cuba. Because when you go to Cuba and you say, wow, how can they do this in Cuba? This is a poor country that has an economic boycott by the United States of America, yet every single person has free healthcare. Every single person has a free college education. And they also have free culture, because they have access to music and symphonies and things that we in the United States, if you're poor, it's very hard for you to access any of the really great culture that we have in our country. So you are so well prepared now to go out there and to make your voices heard and to start changing some of this dynamic about the discrimination that we have in the United States against our closest neighbors, and the exploitation that we now use as our foreign policy towards our neighbors to the south. And I do want to encourage you, please get involved in all of the local politics that's happening right now here in the United States of America. We know we are all working on immigration reform, but we know that's not going to happen unless we get rid of the filibuster in the US Senate to make sure that we can, again, have a legalization program for the undocumented people in the United States, which has also always been the policy of the United States. It's nothing new. Every single immigrant that came to our country, like our first immigrants from Europe, they were all given citizenship eventually in the United States. And so, but we're not going to be able to make that happen unless we get rid of the filibuster in the US Senate. And of course, I know in California, we have two great senators, Senator Alex Padilla an immigrant from, came from an immigrant family from Mexico, the first Latino in the Senate. And of course, we have Senator Dianne Feinstein, of course, her grandparents were also immigrants to the United States of America. So we have to be involved politically, please. If you have friends or relatives in the other states, please call them, ask them, please call your senator to vote for immigration reform, to vote for the Equal Rights Amendment for women. All right, so we can finally have that in our Constitution, that women are equal to men. I think we all thought that was already there. And of course, S1, which is the For the People Act, so that we can undo a lot of these laws that they're passing in the state legislatures to prevent people from voting. So, and here in California, by the way, we're working on trying to get a bill passed in the state legislature. And I think we have both the House and the Assembly and the Senate to give healthcare to all of our undocumented individuals. The bill is AB4, and our legislation is called For the People Act. So after you get through celebrating your graduation, you can, go to your computer, hit your emails and send a message to our Governor Gavin Newsom and tell him, please sign the bill to give healthcare to our undocumented people here in California, okay? Right now, people are only covered up to the age of 26 years old, and there are bills to cover them actually from age 50 and above, and eventually everybody. So as Michael Moore says in his Broadway play that he did, when we wake up in the morning, we wash our face, we brush our teeth, and then we call our senator, okay? So we know that we have work to do. And of course, because you have been fortunate enough to be able to attend the great University of UCLA, you are so much better prepared. But your preparation really is to go out there and work for social justice, to make sure that we can eliminate so many of the wrongs that we have in our country, because you are going to be the very special voices. And as I said before, please, some of you can apply to the Foreign Service of the United States of America and be able to work in some of these countries that you studied about, okay? So again, thank you very much for inviting me. Muchas gracias a todos, si se puede, los felicito de vuelta por todo su gran trabajo y porque ahora están en este momento de su graduación. Sí se puede, muchas gracias. Thank you.
This year's Dolores Huerta Award goes to Laura Zernecki. Laura has a BA in Spanish and Portuguese, and she has written the essay, The Disproportionate Impacts of Human Trafficking on the Latinx Community. Laura, are you here? Would you like to say a few words?
Yes, I am here. First, muchísimas gracias. Es un honor recibir este premio y tener su presencia aquí, Dolores Huerta. De ahora en adelante voy a hablar en inglés porque mi mamá es brasileña y no comprende el español y está aquí en el Zoom. So I would like to thank Profesora Sur for, first of all, providing a space in which I could bridge academia and community service and engagement, and for helping me to transform my work as an intern for the International Rescue Committee's Anti-Trafficking Department into a project on that social issues, disproportionate impacts on the Latinx community. Thank you, Profesora Sur, for pushing me out of my comfort zone, for encouraging me to challenge myself and to explore the intersections where academia and community service meet. I would also like to thank Juan, who's helped me every step of the way, answering all my questions and my doubts, from very small ones to big ones. You've been a great help. I'd like to thank all the students and the professors in the department who make it the special department that it is. And also to Profesora Lino y Professor Passos, who I'm not sure if they're here today, but despite the fact that I never had the pleasure of meeting them in person, their passion and creativity really reawakened my passion for academia and for the subject matter, and really made my college experience very special. And I'm very grateful for that. And last but not least, obrigada, mamãe. Yeah, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Laura, for being the first recipient of the Dolores Huerta Community Service Award. And thank you, Dolores, for being here with us. It has been greatly appreciated. I'm so glad to see you. I have to just say for a moment, I first met you in 1963 and have followed your career very closely. I'm very proud to have been able to march with you at Caesar at many times. So welcome. I'm so glad you were here and so glad you were able to present our first award. Thank you. Next, we have our graduating senior, Abraham Jurado, who will deliver the graduating senior speech in Spanish. Abraham.
Hola, es un placer estar aquí. Muchas gracias por esta oportunidad. Me gustaría mostrarles mi speech. Es un poco no convencional, pero espero que lo disfruten mucho. La familiaridad del departamento en mí. Aprendí la humanamente frágil naturaleza de la literatura aquí en UCLA. En ella encuentro el sentimiento de las tortillas recién hechas y el mate por la mañana, el fútbol que arde en el corazón de los aficionados y el vallenato lento entre luces plateadas. ¿Cómo pronunciar español sin Ecuador, salsa, paella, América, ñuto, olmeca y laberinto? Pues díganme, ¿no es este lenguaje su nombre mismo como el mío? El puente entre las Américas y un viejo mundo de leyendas. Hoy, un día impregnado con la historia informal, sin ser de ellos es muy nuestro. Entre los acentos y las comas encuentro el nido de mi águila real que vuela plenamente frente al cielo de nuestros ancestros, que nuestros ancestros midieron. Contaron a estrellas que aún nos observan enternecidas por la resiliencia de nuestra sangre viva, por el bronce en nuestra piel y el café sin descanso en nuestros iris. Me disculpo, pues me canso de hablar sin terminar de alabar las voces y los espíritus de los que me encontré en mi corto paso por el departamento de español y portugués. Y admito, fue como estar en casa de mis abuelos, un paseo que me desafió a sumergirme entre letras que hablaban sobre mí, íntimas como la receta de mi madre y su mole. El departamento parece ser un secreto que deseo publicar, hacer mío, el honor de compartirlo, pero no. Nuestros profesores ya se encargan de esto trimestre tras trimestre, a través de su trabajo de toda la vida que humildemente postran frente a nosotros para que caminemos y construyamos sobre él. Son sus pasiones el fuego que prende la llama en el pecho, otorgándonos un hambre de inmortal para aprender más de Borges, Paz, García Márquez, Cisneros y muchos autores más, dignos de ser recordados en nuestros propios trabajos originales en cada aula. Provengo de generaciones de docentes mexicanos que impregnaron en mí el pensar en la educación como mi propia familia. Sin embargo, siendo un inmigrante y estando solo en un país donde no soy bienvenido, me sentí perdido. Mi estado mental se desplomó, traicionando mi sentido de preservación propia. La pandemia presentó para mí desafíos económicos, familiares y personales que me estaban devorando de bocado en bocado. No sabía qué hacer, afectando incluso desintegrando mi autoestima y valor propio, sintiéndome impotente, inútil. Fue ahí cuando voces de alivio me guiaron hacia lo que terminó siendo la oportunidad de continuar viviendo. Un camino aparentemente opaco, pero con una tenue luz que incitaba a caminar. Cada paso significó a alguien que estuvo ahí cuando grité con palabras murmurantes por ayuda, siendo esta otorgada con placer. Profesores como Cortines, Calderón, Cristal, Cohen, Profesor Guerrero, Monroe, nombres que nunca olvidaré, al igual que asesores y TAs. En todos ellos encontré figuras comprensivas que a pesar de sus posiciones se postraban a mi lado cuando necesitaba derramar una cascada de preocupaciones que fácilmente pudieron ser ignoradas o derrochadas. Sin embargo, encontré tíos, primos, hermanos, ¿cómo es que los creía? Como con los que hablar no era miseria y las acciones llegarían en su momento adecuado. No había prisa por moverme más, sino paciencia palpitante que desenfrenó en mí más lágrimas con las que lavé un propósito que había enterrado hace años. Deseé de nuevo ser un educador, al igual que ellos, aquellos anteriores a mí, hacer sentir en el futuro esa misma ternura, fraternidad que recibí. Hacer para los que me siguen un camino que los desafía a crecer y no a limitarse, a leer el mundo que ellos conocen y darle la representación que merece, encontrar entre tinta oscura y las páginas amarillentas su reflejo como un lago cristalino. Y lo voy a lograr, al igual que todos aquellos que hoy me escuchan de manera respetuosa, aquellos que conmigo terminan su viaje en UCLA para comenzar uno nuevo con entusiasmo. Somos una generación de nuevos educadores con mentes libres y urgencia por escribir lo que percibimos. Nuestras voces tienen peso, importancia en el mundo moderno y las herramientas se nos han sido otorgadas. Algo debo remarcar. Recuerden estos rostros, estos nombres, la determinación en nuestros ojos, pues volveremos no para usurpar, sino para reclamar lo que nos pertenece. Aquel instinto tan primitivo de mantener y agregar al conocimiento de nuestra raza, pues vivimos, existimos para aprender y enseñar de esta manera, la que aprendimos aquí, pues así debe ser el sendero de la educación familiar para el alumno, con humanos procesos y evaluaciones. Así el sueño de representar a otros más que a ellos mismos se vuelve realidad, pues no son las palabras la única forma del humano ha conocido su eternidad finita. Respiro muy hondo mientras la escarcha nocturna empapa mi abrigo. Los ojos extraviados derraman pena reflejando el amanecer. Vuelvo mi rostro hacia el botón de una rosa, hielo y frío. Pero luce un guiño hoy. Respiro. Eso soy. Gracias.
Gracias. Each year, our graduating seniors have the opportunity of completing the Department Research Honors. It's a program, they work with a faculty advisor, and these students in the program have excelled academically with a grade point average of at least 3.7 in our department. This year, the students who have completed the program are Jaylene Cruz, bachelor's in Spanish, faculty advisor, Ji Young Kim. Riham Jurado, BA in Spanish and a BA in comparative literature, faculty advisor, Hector Calderon. Miranda Lucette Magana with BA in Spanish, Portuguese, and Brazilian Studies minor. Faculty advisor, Patricia Martin Lino. Monica Elizabeth Moreno with a BA in Spanish, a BA in Sociology, and a Mexican Studies minor. Faculty advisor, Hector Calderon. Eden Lizette Nava Martinez, bachelor's in Spanish, Bachelor of Science in Mathematics, and faculty advisor, Martin Van Delton. Jessica Jeanette Nunez, BA in Spanish and Community and Culture, BS, Bachelor of Science in Cognitive Science, faculty advisor, Ji Young Kim. Melissa Palacios, BA in Spanish, Education Studies minor, with faculty advisor, Ji Young Kim. Jaylene, would you like to say a few words? Not here. Abraham, would you like to say a few words?
Sí, Personalmente me gustaría agradecer, por supuesto, a mi faculty advisor, el profesor Héctor Calderón, porque ha sido muy paciente conmigo. Ha sido uno de los años más duros en toda mi vida que he experimentado por distintas razones, por la pandemia y por cuestiones personales. También me gustaría agradecer a mi familia, que siempre está ahí conmigo, dispuesta a apoyarme, a pesar de que tengamos algunas creencias diferentes, siempre están dispuestos a extender su mano y ayudarme, y a todos los profesores del departamento que realmente han cambiado mi vida de una manera positiva y siempre estuvieron ahí cuando los necesité. Muchas gracias.
Miranda?
Hi, I would like to thank obviously my parents for everything that they've done for me, my mom and my dad, and also my younger brothers who have always been there for me, and for my cats who were always there for me when I needed someone to vent to. And I'd also like to thank my closest friends, Rona and Andy, for also being there for me from the very beginning of my time at UCLA and for always encouraging me. And I'd also like to thank my professors, Professora Bivona, Professor Kim, who also guided me with individual studies, and Professor Lino for helping me put together this honors thesis and for allowing me to do this in a way that I felt was really true to myself and reflected my creative abilities. Thank you.
Monica?
Hi, yes, thank you. Hello, everyone. Once again, I would like to thank, first of all, Professor Calderon for being extremely patient, just like my classmate Abraham mentioned. It was really difficult to try to compile research for the study that I was working on with Professor Calderon, and he was extremely patient in trying to help me find resources and just so much information that I could use to my advantage for it. I would also like to thank my family for being really patient with me when I was in class all day and just working on this thesis from day to night sometimes. I would also lastly like to thank my siblings. They were extremely helpful in making sure that when I was in class or working on anything, that the house remained as quiet as possible, because we do have a lot of pets, so it does get kind of noisy inside. So I'd like to shout them out for being really helpful and for just being my rock, just like my mom. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Eden Lizette Nava Martinez? Jessica Jeanette Núñez?
Sí, le quería dar las gracias a la profesora Kim y a los profesores Dr. David Hayes Bautista y a su esposa por ayudarme y guiarme en el proyecto y en mi tesis. También le quería dar las gracias a nuestro consejero por siempre estar dispuesta a responder a mis correos, principalmente también a mis papás y a mi familia por siempre estar ahí. Gracias a todos por todo.
Melissa Palacios?
Hola, ¿qué tal? Claro, le quiero dar principalmente las gracias a la profesora Kim. Me permitió combinar mis perspectivas lingüísticas de Durango con las de Los Ángeles y crear un estudio que fue muy maravilloso para mí, muy cercano a mi corazón. Quiero darle gracias a los demás profesores, a mis papás que están aquí conmigo ahorita, a mi abuelita, si los pueden escuchar. Y sobre todo quiero levantar la voz de las comunidades indocumentadas. Yo vine aquí hace 6 años y estoy muy orgullosa de mi familia en Durango que me están viendo. Los extraño, les voy a ver pronto. Y me quedo 2 años más para sacar mi maestría de educación aquí en UCLA. Esto es para ustedes.
Thank you. Every year, we like to recognize the superior academic performance of our top graduating seniors with the highest GPA in the department. The award is the Carol B. Johnson Outstanding Senior Award. This year, we have the highest honor of our department extends to, with a 4.0 grade point average in our department, and at all of UCLA. The Carol Johnson Outstanding Senior Award goes to Max Coleman Bogo with a BA in Spanish and Emily Diane Bose with a BA in Spanish and Chicano Studies minor. Max, would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, I want to thank my family again. I work really, really hard, and I work as hard as I do to make you all proud. So I hope this makes you proud, and thank you to my family.
Thank you, Max. Emily?
Yeah, I'd like to thank my family for all of their support over the last year. I mean, I'm a transfer student, so I only had 6 months on campus physically. So this year's been just really difficult, but definitely worth it. I'd like to thank my professors for all of their patience and their empathy over the last year, and my classmates for always being there in the group me with jokes and memes and just support all the way through. And I can't wait to see what we all do after this. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone. It has been very, very good to hear from all of our students to provide a ceremony. Hopefully that next year it will be in person. However, I could say that this ceremony, I think, has been very warm and very good to hear from all of you, and so many of you have participated. I would like to thank Dean Schauberg for joining us, and particularly our guest, Dolores Huerta. Having her here has made this program even more special. So we'd like to conclude our program by first presenting you with the department slides of our faculty, and then our graduating seniors of 2021. So we have also a video performance for you from the UCLA Afro-Latin Jazz Orchestra and the Global Jazz Department. So please sit back and enjoy the rest of our programs. Thank you.
Yeah, what's going on?
My name is Arturo O'Farrell. I'm a professor in the Global Jazz Studies Department at the Herb Alpert School of Music at the UCLA Herb Alpert School of Music, and I'm thrilled to congratulate the undergraduate class of 2021 in the College of Humanities and Spanish and Portuguese Department. Congratulations, graduates. We're going to play Havana Blues for you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. That concludes our program. Congratulations, everyone. Congratulations to the class of 2021.